Look, man, you got to keep your faith, in everything that you're doing, in every situation that you're in, no matter what the circumstances are. Like, you got to keep your faith. You got to keep your trust in God all the time. When life's going good, when life may be, going bad, when it might be easy, when it might be hard, like, keep your faith all the time, because it's easy to keep faith when things are going good. It's easy to keep faith when things are easy. It's not about that. Like, faith isn't just believing when life is easy. It's not just believing when life, is going good or you're getting everything that you want. Faith is about holding on and still believing and still trusting when everything around you tempts you to give up, or when everything around you tempts you to just quit, when everything around you tempts you to, lose your faith, because your faith is tested in struggles. Like I said, it's easy to have faith when things go right. It's easy to have faith and trust in God when it's, sunshine and rainbows. But what about when it gets hard? What about when you continuously fail? What about when you continuously, take steps back, or you face a lot of obstacles in your life? Like, that's when the real faith shows. Like, your real faith shows when life gets hard, when you lose, when you fail, when you take a step back, because, God allows these challenges and he brings these challenges into your life to strengthen your trust in him, not to break it, not to bring it down. So your faith is tested in moments of struggle. Your faith is tested in moments of loss, in moments of failure, in moments of, hard times. Like, that's where your faith is tested the most. And that's where you can't get off that foundation. That's where you can't lose your faith. Like, yeah, it's easy to keep faith when things are easy, but what are you going to do when it gets hard? Are you going to continue to keep faith in God? Are you going to continue to trust God and, pray? Or are you just going to run from it? Are you just going to let these things, snowball effect on you and just get worse? Because God hears all your prayers, bro. He hears everything you ask him for. And I promise you, he's working on these things behind the scenes. I promise you, he's doing what needs to be done in order to put you where you need to be. So why would you stop praying, and why would you lose faith when it might get tough? Why would you stop praying and lose faith when it's hard, or when you're losing, or when you're failing? Like, that's when you got to keep your faith the most, because God's promises never expire. God's promises don't expire. Just because you haven't seen the progress being made, or just because you haven't seen the answer yet, or you haven't seen the sign that you prayed for, does not mean that God has forgotten. It doesn't mean that God is not working. It doesn't mean that God isn't moving pieces for you. I talked about this before. Like, just because something is delayed and just because something hasn't happened yet does not mean it's denial. It doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's just out of the picture. God's timing is perfect. His path is perfect. His plan is perfect all the time. You got to have faith in that, though. You got to put your trust in that. Delay is not denial, bro. Just because it's delayed does not mean it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that, he forgot, or it doesn't mean that, oh, I prayed this and God just doesn't like me, so he's not giving me this. Like, no, bro, he's working. He's moving the pieces that need to be moving during that season of delay, during that season of waiting. You got to continue to work, and you got to continue to keep your faith. You got to continue to trust God, because that faith that you have is going to bring you peace, bro. That trust in God that you have is going to bring you peace in times of struggle, in times of failure, where it might get hard. Fear and doubt are always going to try to win you over. The devil is always going to try to win you over. He's going to try to whisper in your ear, but your faith is what anchors you. Your faith and your trust in God is what keeps you grounded. It's what keeps you disciplined. It's what keeps you, continuing to just keep working and grinding every day, because you know that something's going to happen soon. You know that prayer is going to be answered soon. You know that door or the opportunity is coming soon. Like, you have faith in that. You have your trust in God. You prayed about it. You acting like it's going to happen. So you're not letting that fear and that doubt creep up, because your faith is anchoring you. Your faith is keeping you grounded. You know what I'm saying? When you trust God, like, the biggest storms can't shake you. The biggest failures, the biggest losses, they can't shake your spirit, because you trust God. You got faith in God. You know that, okay, maybe this hard time is a test of my faith, or maybe this hard time, I need this hard time to grow. I need this hard time to learn something. Like, God is trying to teach me something through this hard time. And you're trusting that. You know, you're having faith in God. Like that faith is bringing peace, bro. And this is something that I'm currently going through right now. Like literally on this day, this past couple months, like I've been having a hard time in my sport. I haven't been performing the best that I can. I haven't been performing to the best of my abilities. And it's like, you know, I know I can be better. I know I can perform better. I know what I can do on the field, but the devil is trying to win my mind over, you know, because there's nothing physical, you know, it's all mental. It's all up here. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the abilities that I have. I know what I can do, you know, that type of stuff. But it's the mental side of things, you know, and through this period and through this time, I've been continuing to just trust God. I've been continuing to just have my faith in God. Like I know that this struggling season isn't happening for no reason. You know, I know that this season of failure or this season of an obstacle isn't happening for no reason. Like it's a reason for this. There's a reason that God is bringing this upon my life, and I have, you know, to trust Him and keep my faith in Him to overcome it. Like I'm not gonna let the devil win. I'm not gonna let the devil, you know, creep in and just throw me off. You know, so during the worst times and the hardest times of your life, like you gotta keep your faith, bro. Like you gotta continue to trust God. Like don't let the setbacks, don't let the failures, don't let the obstacles make you lose hope. You know, life is never gonna go perfect. Like there's always gonna be hard times, there's always gonna be setbacks, there's always gonna be obstacles. So you can't let these things, you know, make you lose hope. You can't let these things win you over. You know, keep praying, keep believing, keep keeping your faith, keep moving. Because like I always say, bro, your breakthrough and the opportunity you've been praying for could be way closer than you think. It could literally be the next move you make. It could literally be the next step you take, the next big game you have, the next video you post. Like it could be anything, but you never know when that breakthrough could happen. And the moment you lose faith, the moment you stop trusting God, like it's probably never gonna happen. You know, so like no matter what you're facing in your life, bro, no matter what you're going through, good times, bad times, you know, easy, hard times, like anything, bro, just keep your faith all the time. Because your faith is what moves mountains. Your trust in God is what moves mountains. But you can't let that faith go. Like you gotta refuse to let that faith go. You gotta keep it through everything. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what the circumstances are, bro. Keep your faith. You know, but that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. You know, with the 600 subs. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see you on the next one.